before I start, shout out to David 357. This is that Dixon shirt that I got that I told him I was going to show him. So yeah, it's the Gilman Dixon flannel. So also I apologize, I'm sick, so I sound like garbage, but that shouldn't be any different than any other video. I always sound like garbage. Alright, here we go. The least most desirable Ralph Lauren sweater is Chaps. Chaps is a subline, a diffusion line, I guess you could call it, that he started early in his career, Ralph Lauren did. And he hasn't been associated with Chaps in years and years. So if you find some of the older Chaps, it'll still say by Ralph Lauren or Ralph Lauren on them. Those can sometimes go for a little more, but Chaps in general is not worth that much money. That being said, there still are some Chaps items you might want to look out for. Here's some recent solds. 17, 15 bucks. This one here, I would have thought you could got more for that, but it's always the plain stuff that doesn't do so well. This here, $7.23. Now, if this was any other Polo line, this would have got 20 bucks at least. But Chaps is just, it's not good in general. But the best Chaps is these. You'll notice a common theme in this whole video. The stuff that sells for the most always has the most intricate or interesting prints, or it's a cardigan, or has something else going for it besides just a plain color. This is a $200 Chaps right here. So if you see something like this, pick it up, even if it's Chaps. This one here, $119. It's got the Fair Isle. We talked about this in my other sweater video. You see Fair Isle stuff, there's a good chance it's going to sell well. They got 80 bucks for this. It's vintage. It's got a trout on it. There you go. Got a duck right here. Obviously, that's going to sell for more. So some of this really detailed print stuff from Chaps, mostly it's going to be wool, it's going to sell pretty good. So the full sell-through rate on Chaps, 17%. Not good at all. That being said, if you know what to look for, you can still do good with Chaps. So I should mention before we go on that there are 3 sublines that I'm not covering here. Ralph by Ralph Lauren, Polo Western Wear, and Polo Golf. Because all 3 of those have very few, if any, sweaters that I could find out there. I don't think Ralph by Ralph Lauren made sweaters. I'm not sure. Polo Western Wear, I didn't see any sweaters. And Polo Golf, you would think there would be some, and there are some. But with eBay search, the way the keywords are, some people will put Polo Golf on a sweater that's just a regular sweater that has a guy golfing, or it just became unnecessary to look into it. So there's just not that much of it out there. So Chaps is the last of them that actually has definable items. So yeah, then we have the worst Chaps. The worst Chaps are plain, one color, boring, pullovers, vests. You won't find many cardigans on the lowest list. So yeah, this is the sold for the least Chaps. Now we're going to move on to the next one, which is the sell-through rate of 21%, which isn't great either. It is Polo Jeans Co. Polo Jeans Co. Well, what do we know about it? So this guy here, SamTalkStyle.com. Shout out to SamTalkStyle. He has a pretty good list of the Polo sublines and a little bit about each one. So for Polo Jeans Co., this was discontinued in 2006. And they had to buy back the brand from the licensee in order to kill the brand. So it's, as far as I know, this brand is dead. Not making it anymore. But you can find some Polo Jeans stuff with that's worth some money. So let's start with the Polo Jeans Co. This is ended, and this is just sorted by ended recently. Obviously, the one with the big flag is going to be, they probably got about 40 bucks for it. Cardigan, zip cardigan. These are ended recently. The big flag always helps. So you'll notice with Polo Jeans Co., the flag is typically present on a lot of the better stuff. Let's look at the actual best stuff for Polo Jeans Co. This here, the most expensive one I could find, was about 150 bucks. It's cashmere waffle knit sweater. The buyer probably overpaid for this, but that's okay. This here probably should have went for more than that, but you'll notice, like I said, the flag is typically present for Polo Jeans Co. on all the more expensive stuff. So if you see Polo Jeans Co. with a flag or any cardigan, something like this, obviously this is going to be worth money. Anything with the fisherman's knit like that with Polo Jeans Co. is worth picking up. You're going to want to get the flag if you see it for sure on a sweater. 100%. The worst Polo Jeans Co. is... This is going to be a theme in this video, okay? And I believe I went over this in my other sweater videos. The plain sweaters with nothing going for them, no logos, no embroidery. Like this one is just covered in yellow stuff. The more boring, the less you're going to get. So these are all the sold for the lowest amount of money for Polo Jeans Co. They're all just basic. So I actually wouldn't even bother picking these up. The sell-through rate is 21% for Polo Jeans Co. The majority of the stuff you find by Polo Jeans Co. isn't even worth picking up. So you're going to want to get the cardigans and the stuff with the flags for Polo Jeans Co. Otherwise, it's probably not even worth your time. So next we have Polo Ralph Lauren. Now this is the big dog, where most of the stuff out there is going to be Polo Ralph Lauren. Sell-through rate is 44%, which is a huge jump from Polo Jeans Co., which is 21%. So it's more than twice as good as Polo Jeans Co. So Chaps and Polo Jeans Co. are the two most undesirable sweaters for Polo. Now, Polo Ralph Lauren is huge. Tons and tons of this stuff out there. I find this every time I thrift, and I'm sure you probably do too. It's not all worth picking up. Most of it isn't. So what do you pick up for Polo Ralph Lauren? Well, you want to get this stuff. A theme, again, through the whole video, you're going to see the more prints, detailed knit. You get an Indian head, that's a lot of money. So I guess now is a good time to talk about some of these. So these native patterns, these Letterman style, weird, I don't even know if that's the correct word, patchwork, rugby style. Indian head, these are legendary. If you ever find one, congratulations. I've never found one. But they are out there. Polo bears. I mean, come on, you find this stuff, this is not your typical item that you're going to sell on eBay. This makes your day. You quit thrifting after this. So yeah, look at these. Look at these right here. The Sportsman Respect Wildlife, almost 600 bucks. Indian on a horse. Polo bear. This vintage with snowplow. Or is that a snowplow? No, it's just a truck. But the Indian heads are legendary. If you find an Indian head, pick it up. Obviously. Even if you pay $100 for it or more. Polo bears, pick them up. I actually found my first polo bear a few days ago before I got sick. Unfortunately, it wasn't a knit sweater. It was a sweatshirt. Like, a regular pullover fleece deal. But I should still be able to get $65 for it or something. So yeah, these are the best Polo Ralph Laurens have sold recently. Hundreds of dollars for these. Anything you find with these interesting knits, the southwestern patterns, or the tree with the truck, the bears, polo bears and Indian heads and stars. Any bear is worth it. And then this guy, the skier, these are classic too. They're called the Red Lines Ski Man. Yeah. Polo Ralph Lauren with the detailed embroideries and stuff. This is huge money. Huge money. Be on the lookout for this stuff. Polo bears, Indian heads, it's crazy what this stuff goes for. Then you have $1, $3.30. Same brand. What's different? Plain. Pullover. Cotton. So I'm just going to say right now, and just save you some time, I won't go through any more of this. Plain cotton polo, leave it. Period. Just don't. It's not worth it. Sell-through rate on Polo Ralph Lauren sweaters, 44%. Next we have, this isn't a subline. This is a keyword and a type of sweater. It's vintage. So there's going to be some overlap here between the Polo Ralph Laurens we just looked at, because some of those Indian heads and stuff were vintage. Some of those Polo bears were vintage. But vintage Polo Ralph Lauren sweater has a sell-through rate of 44%, again, just like Polo Ralph Lauren. Just because it's vintage doesn't necessarily mean it's worth money. For example, here's a vintage purple wool knit, $16. That's not great. Now, if this had some kind of embroidery or a cool knit, probably be looking at $50. Always the same, isn't it? Plain, plain, plain. No one cares, okay? So let's look at the good stuff for vintage. This one we just saw. Like I said, there's some overlap. We just saw these. This is interesting. P-wing cardigan. I've never seen that. This is the Polo Country. We'll get to that, but yeah, that's something to look for. Polo bear, Indian head. I mean, this is all stuff we just saw. This is interesting. Rodeo sweater set with beanie. That went well. So yeah, same thing we just looked at pretty much. All these are vintage, interesting, Indian heads, bears, ski themes, trucks, all that stuff. Hundreds and hundreds and $1,000 in this case. Keep your eye out for the patchwork rugby cardigan. You see this? That's it for the day. You don't need anything else. Okay, so that is vintage. Now we're getting up there. This is number 10. Lauren Ralph Lauren. So Lauren Ralph Lauren, this was created in similar fashion to Chaps, so like as a diffusion line to be sold in other department stores and stuff, especially Macy's. And he lost control of the brand at one point and was unable to remove his name from it. Some say the brand has re-entered the RO Corporation portfolio, though the guy on this blog has not been able to corroborate this. Regardless, the items in this range have nothing to do with Ralph Lauren himself, who only interacts with the purple label. Generic styling, lower quality. So Lauren Ralph Lauren isn't some of the top stuff, the better stuff. So there's a little history and a little substance behind the Lauren Ralph Lauren. He doesn't even want to deal with it. So usually it's garbage is what I'm saying. But there's exceptions to every rule. So let's take a look. These are the sold recents. I mean, $27 for... Oh yeah, that's not really a Lauren Ralph Lauren. This one is, but it's a vintage 90s with the Fair Isle, so yeah. So you'll see some of the more plain stuff it goes for better with Lauren Ralph Lauren. I'm not sure why, but it just does. The best Lauren Ralph Lauren, and here we go with some of the other stuff again. Yeah, see, now here's the thing about some of these that I'm showing you. And I'm sure I'm not the only one to notice this. eBay's search can sometimes be a hot mess. And I don't really think it's all eBay's fault. I think because people just jam as many keywords as they can into the title, I'm seeing stuff that is not Lauren Ralph Lauren because it has Ralph Lauren in the title. That's just the nature of the beast. So you're going to get very little out of Lauren Ralph Lauren. Out of Lauren Ralph Lauren section of this video. Because this is a Ralph Lauren purple label. It's not Lauren Ralph Lauren. So yeah. And I went through this and I almost wasn't even going to include this tab and show you this, but it's important to know that Lauren Ralph Lauren is out there and it has a better sell-through rate than regular Ralph Lauren. 45% sell through. So keep an eye out for it. You know what to look for. If it's a cardigan, or it has interesting prints, or it's a fisherman's sweater, or anything like that, that's going to be worth more and might be worth looking at. But a plain regular cotton one, just leave it behind. So next is number 9 is RRL. This is his best line as far as quality goes, but it's not the best selling. Of the 45% sell-through rate, let's take a look at some RRL. This is the recent sold. That's the label right there. You see that? There's a pretty good chance you're picking it up. Almost every RRL I found was worth picking up. Unless it's just torn apart and garbage. But yeah, RRL is my favorite of the Polo Ralph Lauren line. So what's the best selling RRLs? Well, right here. This is a lot, so that doesn't count. This one here has the detailed knit picture of a lighthouse. Again, we've got the Western cardigan style. Another cardigan, another cardigan, another cardigan. So you get the point. Cardigans with detailed knits. Oh, here we've got an Indian head. Another cardigan. I mean, look at these sold numbers. $600 for sweaters. And this is the RRL. Also known as double RL. But yeah, this is a pretty plain cardigan, but this person probably got at least $450. RRL. Look for the cardigans. Look for anything RRL. They could have got more for this. 100%. 100%. They could have got $500. Of course, that's easy for me to say, looking at it without having listed it, without having to turn down 500 lowball offers. So, hey, that could have been the best they could do, and I probably couldn't have done better if I'm being honest. But I know that looking at it without knowing any context, an Indian head and a cardigan and RRL, I would expect $500 or close. So yeah, again, it's the same theme. If it's got knit, interesting patterns, if it's Southwestern, Aztec, cardigans, wool, this here, it's very similar. It has the same. This is kind of plain, but still got $350 for it. It's a chore jacket. See, that's not technically a sweater, but now is there any RRL that isn't worth that much? Plain Henleys. I mean, even this waffle knit Henley is $33. I'd be happy with that any day of the week. A basic waffle knit t-shirt, $48. Come on. This is the lowest sold RRL on eBay for sweaters. $50 for a basic medium gray pullover. It's wool and linen, so that's kind of nice. But RRL, you find anything RRL, there's a 99.9% chance that you're going to be picking up. It's going to be worth it. 45% sell-through rate on RRL across the board. So number 8, we have Polo Sport. Polo Sport is interesting. It's mostly going to be fleece stuff. Polo Sport was launched in the 90s, and it's one of the hallmark brands of the era. It's characterized by bold logos, and as the name suggests, you'll only find it in sportswear. So windbreakers, sweatshirts, tees, caps, polo shirts, it's usually good quality. Similarity of the logo between this and Polo Golf. So launched in the 90s, it's going to be fleeces, polo shirts, polo sweatshirts, pullovers. Yeah, so Polo Sport. I lost my spot here, but here we go. This is some recent solds. Polo Sport for $250. That's pretty good. Got the Fair Isle here. Got just under $100. That's all right. So let's look at some of the best-selling, worth the most money Polo Sport. We've got the Vintage 92 USA quarter zip. You'll notice a lot of the sports themes on these. The skiing, $250. Canoeing, $139, or who knows, but at least $100. USA quarter zip with the, actually, is that a quarter zip? It's hard to say. Yeah, it looks like it. It actually is. So this is the stuff you want to look for. Polo Sport, USA. It's knit with sports images on it. Or pullovers like this right here. This is worth good money. $100. $100 for this. So that's what you want to look for Polo Sport. What you don't want to look for is this stuff. Boring, plain sweaters. $11, $12. Why buy it? Leave cotton sweaters behind if they're plain. I don't care what the brand is unless it's RRL or Amiri or something good, but typically cotton plain sweaters are just... So Polo Sport sell-through rate of 46%. And that brings us to Ralph Lauren. Again, this is a hot mess because of the way eBay search works. Ralph Lauren is included in Polo Ralph Lauren, Ralph Lauren, Lauren Ralph Lauren, and every other Ralph Lauren subline. So a lot of the stuff you're going to see isn't technically Ralph Lauren sweater. So that being said, it has a sell-through rate of 49%. There's a lot of it out there. This is the recent solds. None of this should be surprising. Now, this is going to be some of the stuff we've already seen. This is the best-selling Ralph Lauren. So, yeah, we'll scroll through it again and just take a look at it. The Ski 92, $600. So yeah, I hope this helps. I hope you can see what to look for now. This is all stuff we've already seen. So there is a line of Ralph Lauren called just Ralph Lauren. If you find it, it's slightly better than a lot of the other ones we've went through before. Next one we have Polo Country. Polo Country actually has a little bit of a story to it. So Polo Country was a short-lived Polo Country store from the 90s, and it's often spoken of as a spiritual predecessor to RRL. So this was the predecessor to RRL, Polo Country. There's not that much of it out there. Sell-through rate of 51%. If you do find it, it's more likely than not going to be a good idea to pick it up. So let's take a look at it if I can find my tab here. There we go. So, Polo Country sweater. This is recent solds. And you can see there's a lot of non-Polo Country here. This is Brooks Brothers Country Club. What can you do? But if you find that tag that I just showed on that blog, Polo Country, there's a good chance you're going to pick it up. The best-selling stuff, $985 for this. Let's see if this is an actual Polo Country item here. Sure is. This is the tag right here. There's a good chance if you see that tag, you're going to be buying it. More than likely. Good stuff. It's a little more rare. And that was number 6 of all the Polo lines for sweaters. So, the worst stuff, I think I showed the worst stuff, is the basic stuff again. Pullover, like a basic polo, basics, vest. But that's not even a polo. Yeah, so, as you can see, eBay search is a bit of a hot mess at the moment. It's not showing Polo Country at all, except for the top one. But you should know it's more than likely you're going to pick it up. because it's good. It's good. It sells for good money, usually, and all of it's vintage. Next we have number 5, Polo Ralph Lauren Rugby. Okay, there's the tag. This is a sell-through rate of 59%. It's a lot better sell-through than Polo Jeans Co. or Chaps or even Polo Ralph Lauren. I mean, 59% is pretty good for a brand this big. So Polo Rugby, there's a good chance you're buying it. The best stuff, yeah, this is just more of the stuff that's not what we're looking for. But that's eBay search for you. We're trying to look at rugby, and it's not showing us rugby. This one is. That's not. This doesn't even have rugby in the title. So it's a hot mess. But you saw the tag. You know what Polo Ralph Lauren Rugby is. You know the sell-through rate's pretty good. And you know that you're going to be picking it up more than likely if you find it. Polo Rugby. Good stuff. Ralph Lauren Black Label is number 4. Sell-through rate on Black Label is 60%. It's a fancier, higher end line. So the Black Label is like the fancy, modern, slimmer, more fitted look. Made in more swanky places, Italy or some places more renowned for their fancy clothes. So Black Label, it's the nice stuff, really. And it has a sell-through rate of 60%. So let's take a look at some Black Label here. Here's the most expensive Black Label. They got the turtleneck moto here. Now, I bet they would have got more money if they called it a commando. But still. The Black Label, you can see they got $287 for that. I would have assumed that would be worth more than that. Here's a commando sweater. If they would have put commando. So yeah. Black Label. This is the good stuff. It doesn't sell for as much as you would think. I mean, considering it's the fancy stuff. I mean, the most expensive thing is $300, which pales in comparison to some of the vintage Indian Head and Polo Bears and stuff. But Black Label, fancy. You find it. It's got a sell-through rate of 60%. You're more than likely going to sell it. And let's look at the worst stuff here. $20 for basic stuff. Hi, Gailey. I got a kitty here. I don't know if you'll be able to see in the camera, but she's blocking my view, but that's all right. That's what she does. She's worth it. All right, so the Black Label, the basic stuff can be worth very little. But still, $20 for a plain sweater is way more than you'd get for a regular Polo Ralph Lauren plain sweater. You might get 10. So even the basic stuff, the Black Label is going to be worth a little more. Next we have Denim and Supply, which Denim and Supply is something you'll find. It's out there. This is the recent solds. The sell-through rate is 69%, so it's pretty desirable. This one here, you would think they would have got a lot more for that. But Denim and Supply, some of it's modern. It's not necessarily going to be all vintage. But the older stuff is usually worth a little more. So we're going to look at some of the most expensive stuff that's sold. This, obviously, the Union Jack. I mean, you see these patterns, you're going to buy it no matter what it is. But in these cases, it's Denim and Supply. This is the best Denim and Supply stuff out there. Yeah. You see anything like this, Denim and Supply, you're going to be grabbing it. The worst stuff Again, it's basic. But even the worst denim in supply is still 20, 25 bucks. So you can't complain about that. It's still worth picking up if you get it for $5 or 10 or $7. I wouldn't say 10 bucks. That's getting a little crazy. But yeah, get it for $5 to $7. It's still worth it. 20 bucks for a basic sweater. Why not? Number 2, which surprised me, RLX. I didn't think this would go for that much. But you see this label. It has a sell-through rate of 83% in sweaters. So you're picking it up, basically. You find an RLX sweater, grab it. Doesn't matter what it looks like. You're going to be selling it. And the best of it looks like, let me go back here. This. Again, there's a bear. This thing here with the little gun pad, shooting pad. This here is a cable knit cashmere. Yeah, you're picking that up. So RLX, you see that label I showed you, you're grabbing it. 80-something%. 83% sell-through, you're getting it. The worst selling stuff, let's see if I can go here. $5, $7, $8, $16. It's the half zip, quarter zip, basic pullover RLX. This stuff is barely worth picking up unless you get it cheap. But $20, I'd take it all day long actually if I get it cheap. But this is not that exciting. It's not going to get me riled up, but I'll definitely pick up an RLX sweater no matter what, if I get it cheap enough. But you have to know, obviously, what you're likely to get for something before you spend money on it. So that's what I hope these videos do. So the number 1 Ralph Lauren sweater brand for sell-through rate is the Purple Label. So let's go to the blog. Purple Label is the cream of the crop. Couture influenced women's clothing and accessories are sold under this brand in addition to high quality men's tailoring. So this is the best cream of the crop supposedly items for Ralph Lauren sweaters. Sell-through rate of 94%. So that's a 100% chance that you're buying it when you find it. This is what it looks like. These are recent solds. Look at these. I mean, average is going to be up there. Almost everything's over $100. And I'm talking about, this here is the most basic thing ever. Basic. $130 for this. What do you think they would have got if this was just a Ralph Lauren or if this was a Chaps? Maybe $10. So brand is everything. Sub-brand is everything. Purple Label, you find it, you're buying it. You're just going to buy it. Here's what it looks like. I'm sorry, I'm doing a bad job of showing labels. I'm sick. So you got to give me a little bit of... There it is. You find the Purple Label Ralph Lauren, you're going to buy it. You just are. It's going to sell quick. 94% sell-through. And some of the worst of it, $64 is the cheapest thing sold in the last 90 days. Come on, $64 for a regular plain sweater, you'll be buying that. So that's it. Ralph Lauren Purple Label has got the highest sell-through, and it's technically the cream of the crop as far as Ralph Lauren sublines go. But I don't want that to be the number 1 takeaway from the video, so just a real quick reminder. The real money is in the old, not even necessarily old, but the Indian head, the polo bears, the zip-up and button-up cardigans with Southwest styles, Aztec knits, ski bears, trucks carrying Christmas trees, any kind of, not embroidery, but any kind of knit that has an interesting image, especially bears, Indians, Indian head, anything like that. Cardigans are always worth more than normal sweaters, pullovers. And Polo Ralph Lauren, the reason I did a deep dive on this is because it has the most active and sold sweaters on eBay of any major brand that I could find. So it's very plentiful out there in the wild. You're going to find this stuff. So now you know what you're looking for.